Hey, what's up? Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Argue. I'm excited to be back with you guys. Missed last week, had to go out of town on some business, but we're back at it. Um, just quick reminder, like, hey, everybody show up on February 28th. That's tomorrow. Do what you need to do tonight. Get your gas, whatever you need to get. We're not spending no money. Tomorrow, if you do have to spend any money, make sure it's with small black-owned businesses. Nothing big, no corporate, no major corporate stores. Uh, so we're going to hold back our dollars, and we really want to try to see if we can extend this for at least 28 days. I'm sorry, 28 days. We want to show up on February 28th in record numbers, but we want to see if we can do this. Let's try to do if we can extend it out 3 days. Let's start there. Like let's just not do it this one day. Let's really show them that we are in control. We hold the power. We are the ones because they're trying to screw us over in every a way imaginable. So definitely we're gonna show up in record numbers tomorrow. We're not gonna spend any money with any major corporations. Get all your gas, your food, all your essentials tonight. Hopefully everybody do that. Um, but then that one day we gonna stand on business, right? We're not going to purchase anything from any big major corporations. So we're just going to stand on business and let's just come together as a collective and show them that we when it's necessary we know how to stand together. So let's do that, and I hope to I can't wait to see the results of what we're going to do. But anyway, Um, thank you again for showing up for Let's Argue. I appreciate everybody coming out. If you're tuning in, hashtag I'm outside. Let's argue. Go ahead and drop that in the chat window, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I do have some good news. I will be taking this show on a much broader scale. So I just got in talks with WJZZ, one of the longest running jazz stations in Detroit. I want to say really across, it might even be larger than that, but it's called Cool Jazz TV. So we will be on a much larger platform having this kind of discussion here on a much larger platform. So I'll be able to reach a broader audience. And I'm gonna take you guys with me because y'all been with me since the beginning. So we're gonna just take this thing a little bigger. Hopefully it can grow, and we're just looking forward to be able to do some great things starting off in 2025. So looking forward to it. Definitely excited about it. So yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, we'll be broadcasting live on Saturdays. I still haven't worked out the time, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably be on Saturdays. So you'll be able to catch it live. I want to say live on. You'll still be able to go live on YouTube. You'll still be able to see it live on YouTube. And can't remember the. You'll be able to listen to it uh, on the podcast, so you'll be able to get the audio version. You probably won't be able to see me, but we'll be recasting that again on YouTube and on all my other platforms. But you'll be able to hear the audio podcast version, traditional podcast through your, through whatever your podcast you um, are affiliated with. So looking forward to that. Just definitely tune in. All right. So anyway, so today's subject is are men becoming too sensitive? So let's go ahead and yeah, have men become too sensitive? That is the show topic for today. Have men become too sensitive? As usual, we play games on this show. Y'all already know what the assignment is. Today we're going to be playing lyrically correct the 90s 2000 hip hop and R&B version. I also have a promo code for you. So if you like the game and we've been playing it a while, I will send you a promo code so that you can go to their website, tap in, and get a 10% discount. So I definitely hope that you guys take advantage of that. Do that. I would, it is a black-owned business, so we definitely want to support. So go ahead and I'm gonna drop that in the chat window as well. So if you're tuning in, hashtag I'm outside, let's argue, drop that in the chat window. Also, I want you to put hashtag lyrically correct in that chat window as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video just so you'll see what the content is today, and let's argue.
Every time their women express the way they feel like they're being attacked. She's not attacking you. Men have become so sensitive that every time their women express the way that they make them feel, they feel like they're being attacked. She's not attacking you. She's trying to teach you how to properly love her. She's trying to teach you how to properly nurture her, but your wounds, your ego, your pride have you on the defense. Be quiet. Shut up. Everything does not need a rebuttal. This woman is coming to you, and she should have a safe space when she's able to express her feelings, her needs, and her wants. When a woman stops expressing her feelings because she no longer feels heard, it's over. When a woman emotionally detaches from a relationship, you already lost her. So if a woman comes to you and saying, baby, you make me feel like this, you make me feel like that, stop being defensive, listen and learn so you can become a better man, so you can learn how to love your woman better. The worst thing a man can do is hear a woman cry out for help and turn the other cheek. Love that woman, guide that woman, protect that woman, and shield that woman even from the lowest parts of yourself. All praises due to the Most High. Don't be a dusty bum. All praises.
Oh man. So I have so many problems with what the brother said. Like, I have so many issues with what he said. The one thing I can say that I do agree with him, we do as men, we do need to, of course, listen to our women. They should have a safe space where they can come and express their feelings. Um, and I'm just gonna go back to what I've always said, like that door swings both ways. But let's just stick on to what he was saying about how um, let's stay on that where men need to not be so sensitive. Okay, so if that is the narrative that we're following today, that men, we're according to him, that we need to not be so sensitive and listen to our woman because they're only trying to teach us how to love them. That to me implies that this may be the type of man that, and if this is the type of man that has that type of relationship, or a woman has a man that is a woman has a man that is this type of man who is not allowing them the safe space to be able to say what they need to say, like it's just everything is just a fight, 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 then maybe he has some merit to some of the things that he's saying. However, I don't think that should be a definitely should be a blanket statement where um according to him that you should just shut up. Like um I think we all have this innate um response. If you, because sometimes you can feel like you're being attacked when somebody, especially if somebody that's close to you that you love and you care about, and they're pointing out, say, some of your flaws. Then yeah, you could feel like you're being attacked. It could be the way that she's presenting the information to him that yeah he feels attacked. So I think that matters. I think if you put it in the context where if it's she's presenting things that he's doing that's not giving her the space to feel comfortable to say what she needs to say, then yeah. Or let's just go a little deeper. Let's just say he's the kind of man who just he's very um what's the word I'm looking for? Say he's an overbearing kind of man, very controlling. Then yeah, I think everything that he says definitely applies, but that man needs some help. Um, Definitely some type of counseling because that could be some issues with his daddy, his mama, whatever. So definitely he would need to, try to seek out maybe some professional help with that. Because I've known men like that are very overbearing, and you can tell because the way the man and the woman interacts, it's almost like she's very, very docile, meek, because she don't want to say the wrong thing for fear that he may, I don't know, hit her or yell at her or cuss at her and say some very negative things to her. So in that context, yeah. But in general, I I just have to say I gotta give some pushback onto what the brother said. Like we, first of all, we're grown. I don't need you to raise me. You now, of course, you should definitely have the space to tell me how you want to be treated. But just because I give a rebuttal to some of the things that you may be expressing to me doesn't mean that um, it takes away from what you're trying to communicate to me. No, I'm not gonna shut up, especially if I feel that you're wrong. But I should listen. I should definitely listen. But I'm not about to shut up just because. And maybe I might be quiet for then just to process what you're saying. But no, I'm not gonna shut up. I'm not gonna shut up. We will have a conversation because if I feel like if I feel like some of the things that you're saying are incorrect or you're off basis, then I should also have the space to be able to communicate that to you and you not feel some kind of way. We're gonna have a conversation, right? So I think that that is some of the things that he said. Like I said, I don't agree with. Just in on a general basis, I think he's off base. But if you do have an overbearing man, then I can see where that dynamic would be there. But I'm gonna play the video again just so we can kind of break down some of the things that he said again because his well,
They feel like they're being attacked. She's not attacking. Every time their women express the way that they make them feel, they feel like they're being attacked. She's not attacking.
so um and again, I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. If it depends on how she's expressing herself to him. Yeah, he can feel like if you're attacking his character and not his behavior, then yeah, he might feel like he'd be being attacked. And any no more than you would feel like you're being attacked if he came at you and start attacking your character and not the behavior. And again, it's not go back to what my mom used to always tell me, when my grandma them used to tell me, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. If you're presenting that information to him in a way that makes him feel less than, demeaning. And again, you should have the space to be able to say what you need to say. But if you're presenting that information to him in a way that makes him feel less than or demeaning, or you're trying to emasculate him, he's not going to receive it. He's just not going to receive it. And he's going to give some pushback. And that doesn't make him any less of a man because you would. Anybody, yeah, that feels like an attack. So he's going to lash out. He has every right to lash out. I would. If you're presenting the information to him in a way that makes him feel less than, you're talking down to him in a condescending tone, the man is going to respond in kind. Like he's not going to do that. He's not going to take it from another man. So I'm sure he's not going to take it from you. So you have to, and if this is your man, your husband, your boyfriend, and somebody you love, then you need to approach with that. You need to approach in love so that he can receive it. And if it's just always kind of like just a constant battle when you're trying to talk, then maybe you might need a third party because sometimes it's hard to hear information coming from somebody that you love and care about. They might be too close to the situation. Sometimes being able to talking to somebody that you love and care about, the information might be missed because they're just so close to you. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think that when you not saying that you should stop trying to communicate, but I think sometimes you may need just a third party, and then you may need to seek out a couples therapist, a counselor, or whatever, because you may not be talking to them in a way I heard someone say this before, talking to them in their love language, in a way that they can hear you, but I think both parties definitely need to come to the table. You need to listen with intent to understand and not to respond. So, yeah, but let's go ahead and play some more and let's break some more of this down.
Attacking you. She's trying to teach you how to properly love her. She's trying to teach you how to properly nurture her, but your wounds, your ego, your pride have you on the defense. Be quiet.
So, yeah, and while that may be true, again, I think that more or less comes along with the type of man that is overbearing, very controlling, then you will get that. Um, my personal take is if this is the kind of man that is constantly doing stuff like that, then I think there's some deeper issues at play. And then, of course, like I said, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Then I think some counseling may be necessary at that point. If he is of the mindset that every time you try to communicate with him, it's always some pushback. But you also have to keep in mind, how are you presenting the information to him? Are we all have um, a way that we like to be treated, like to be communicated to? I think it makes it difficult, especially when it's coming from somebody that you love and care about. But if you're not the kind of person that likes to be corrected or criticized, or and there's a difference between, in my opinion, between criticism and then constructive criticism. And again, that needs to be presented in a way that that person can hear you and receive it. So it might be what you're saying, not necessarily him. So you need to. So I think that we definitely need to. All that stuff needs to come into play. I think he's over exaggerating this, and it's I kind of hate it because I'm not trying to disrespect the brother. He has his right to his opinions and everything like that. But I feel like it's a little bit of pandering that men are becoming too sensitive, because how do you weigh that, saying that men are becoming too sensitive, and that is the very thing that women want? Like they want, how do you balance being sensitive and being vulnerable to your mate, your woman, your wife, in a way that she needs, so that you can, when the ultimate goal is for her to be able to hear you, and you to be able to hear her. So how do you balance that? So this whole thing about men becoming too sensitive, because that is the exact thing I believe that women want us to do, to be a little bit more sensitive to their needs, to their wants, to their desires. But now I feel like this brother is dinging us, saying, "Oh, we're too sensitive because we feel like we're being attacked." Again, well, if we're gonna look at the picture, let's look at the big picture. What are you saying to him? How are you communicating to him about your wants, your needs, your desire, how you want to be treated? How are you communicating that to him? If you're not communicating that to him in a way that makes him feel if you're communicating to him in a way that makes him feel less than, demeaning, you're emasculating him, of course he's going to feel attacked. Anybody would. It would be no different if that door opened the other way and he communicated to you about things that he wants and he expect, or things that he wants, how he wants to be treated, but he was doing it in a very demeaning way. Wouldn't you would feel attacked as well? So it may be your approach, it may be your communication style, and you have to figure out how that person wants to be communicated to. And I think that's the approach that definitely needs to be taken. If you're just tuning in, again, hashtag I'm outside, let's argue. Go ahead and drop those comments in the chat window for me. Hashtag I'm outside, let's argue. All right, we're going to go ahead and continue to break this down, what the brother is saying.
Shut up. Everything does not need a rebuttal.
Now, I can't agree with him there. Everything don't need a rebuttal. Sometimes it may be necessary to take what your significant other is saying, process it, and come back. You don't always have to come back with a rebuttal. I agree. I think you do sometimes need to take what your significant other is saying, and it don't always cause a response. But again, if you're communicating to them and they feel attacked, then the first thing you're gonna do is put your guard up. You may be in defense mode, depending on how they communicate information to you. All right, what's up, bro? Little brother just joined in. Let's see what he says here. Well, I'd rather be sensitive at home than to exploit them at the homie's house. True. Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah. Um, I think that we as men, and I want to say the overwhelming of women would probably agree with this. They want that sensitive side of us, but don't take that sensitivity for weakness. And the last thing you want to do, if you do want your man to be vulnerable, is use and that's what I kind of feel like is going on here. Don't use his sensitive moments as a way of calling him out on it, or making it a albatross around his neck. Now you're villainizing him for being sensitive. So you want to cultivate that. And again, he may have trouble communicating. Who knows? I mean, you just never know. And you might have to find what that balance is. How can you talk to him in a way that he can understand and hear you? You know, sometimes it may mean coming out of that environment. Like, say if you guys are, when you do get into it, it's always in the house. Maybe you need to say, hey, I want to, let's go to a park. I want to, take you out to dinner or whatever. And maybe he may be less apt to react in a negative way because you're in a public space. So sometimes you might need to change the environment in which you, before you get ready to have a conversation. There's a lot of things that come into play, but again, I think that the person that you're communicating with, your man, your husband, your boyfriend, if he's constantly reacting that way, what are you doing? Like, first question yourself, what are you doing? And I'm not saying that he is not at fault, but I'm asking yourself, what are you doing? Is there anything that you can do? And if you're saying there's nothing, then that's a whole nother conversation that needs to be had. Because now I'm like, as women, you guys never think it's your fault. You never think you're the one at fault. Now I think the narrative is starting to change a little bit, where women are starting to take ownership and they're starting to realize it's them in some instances. But if you saying there's nothing you're doing, then I have to call you. I have to call BS on that. Absolutely, yeah, I agree, bro. Pushing buttons. Yep. Sometimes you women, y'all can communicate. Yeah. And the thing is like, far as the words are concerned and your tongue, y'all can say the things that, because y'all are so close, to say those things that can definitely get right up under our skin, right under the epidermis, like right up under it, and push those buttons. And that's why I said earlier, it's how you're communicating with him. It may be, you may need to temper that or tether that in a way so that he can understand what it is you're trying to say, how you're trying to communicate to him. All right, so let's finish playing a little bit more of the video. Thanks, bro. I appreciate your comments. Let's see.
Woman is coming to you, and she should have a safe space when she's able to express her feelings, her needs, and her wants. When a woman stops expressing her feelings because she no longer feels heard, it's over.
And he has a point there. I guess my pushback on that, that's a different kind of man. When you have a man that is overbearing, controlling, overbearing and controlling, that's that kind of man that won't allow a woman to express her wants, her needs, or desires. She doesn't feel safe. That's that kind of man. But in general, I don't think that men, especially black, I don't think we're trying to operate on that. I think we do want to understand our woman. We want to be, and here's the thing. There is just some arguments between men and women that the only person that's going to be able to referee and solve that is God. That, at the end of the day, period. That's just how that's going to go. All right, let's see. Bro say they know how to come to you right, and they know how to go to you wrong. Yeah, they do. And I think when you have, and if they come at you with that dagger behind their back, and we ain't stupid, like you can tell when they come with that dagger because they already got an agenda. They done already worked it out in their head how they about to come at you, and you can't see the knife because it's behind their back. But you like, but I'm speaking metaphorically here. But when they get ready to have that conversation, certain words they use, their posture or whatever, you like, oh, you got that dagger out. I can't see it, but it's there. So you know they're about to start attack. So you immediately get on the defense. And if you want your man to listen to you, to hear you, then you might need to change your approach. Hands up, or show your hand. Let him know that you're not trying to attack him. And again, it could be in your approach. If you're coming to the conversation with one hand behind your back or both hands behind your back, again, metaphorically speaking, what you got behind your back? We not dumb. Game recognize game. So you might be coming to the table with an agenda. So let's if we're gonna look at it, let's look at everything. Let's let everybody just lay all their cards on the table. He might, yeah. I'm not saying that men don't have trauma they need to deal with, and sometimes we might have a hard time listening. And I'm definitely not suggesting that. But women also have to take ownership. How are you communicating to him and with him? Let's see here. Bro says, and at times where where they push in the buttons, that's exactly what they want to come at you very, very wrong. Yeah, absolutely. But again, they didn't work it out ahead, and because they probably didn't already in their head, they didn't already had the conversation. They know what the outcome is, or what they think is going the outcome of the conversation is going to be. So now they didn't already kind of played out the different scenarios in their head. Let's finish breaking down what the brother's saying.
When a woman emotionally detaches from a relationship, you already lost her. So if a woman comes to you and saying, baby, you make me feel like this, you make me feel like that, stop being defensive, listen and learn so you can become a better man, so you can learn how to love your woman better.
And maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I just, to me, it almost feels like first of all, you're not my mother. You're grown, I'm grown. You cannot raise me. Not saying that I can't learn anything from you. You can't teach me. And this may even sound like a defense mechanism as well, but I don't care. Talk to me like a man with respect. Don't talk to me in a condescending tone. Period. I'm not, there's no way that I don't think there's any man who is a man is going to respond, is going to receive that well. If you're talking to him in a very condescending tone, talking down to him, trying to emasculate him, he's not going to respond for that. We look at that as a threat. We look at that as a threat, and we're going to respond in kind. Period. It's no other way around it. That is exactly how we're going to respond. If you're talking to him in a very condescending way, talking to him in a way that you're emasculating him and not giving him the room and the space to be able to communicate himself, you're going to get that pushback. But I think in general, this man that he is describing is one that is controlling and overbearing, and it's his way or the highway, period. And I've seen and been around couples where you can tell where the woman, she's very meek and kind of docile. Like she doesn't have a voice. And I've been around people like that. Like I can tell when there's a woman who's in a relationship where she doesn't have a voice. I can see it. I think I can spot it right off where a woman doesn't have a voice. Let's see, bro, say I've definitely grew in that department. I'm definitely going to listen, but I definitely want to be heard and listened to. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that women miss that. Like and I was saying earlier, bro, like when you're having a conversation, like, yeah, your woman should be able to come to you and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. But again, it's the approach. And are you attacking my behavior or are you attacking my character? There's a difference. Let me see if I can explain it. So if you say, you always do, I'm trying to give the difference between attacking a person's character or behavior. So if you say to me, I don't like it when you I don't like it when you, or say, raise your voice at me. Okay, let's just say if you raise your voice at me. Okay, that is a behavior thing. But then when you start attacking my character, like, and you saying that you always do this, you're not really speaking to my behavior. You're talking about my character. And then and that may be a bad example. I'm trying to think of a very good example. But let's just say if you say I always raise my voice, or I'm always yelling at you, or I'm trying to figure out a way to where your character comes into play. But there's a difference between speaking to a person's character and speaking to a person's behavior. So you have to make sure that you're speaking to the person's behavior, what their actions are doing, making you feel. You say, bro, put that damn knife up, right? And again, like I said, men don't respond well to that. Like, we're not going to have, like, another man is not going to, we're not going to allow another man to talk to us greasy like that with an agenda. We're going to automatically take a posture and be ready for the threat. So you have to watch how you approach and talk to your man, right? I think that's the only way to have a conversation, and that goes both ways. Like, we shouldn't come at you and expect you to respond in a manner in which we want you to hear us in if we're coming at you with our knives out as well. Bro, I'm driving and texting, but our conversation sound like two retards. You sound retarded. Read my retarded statement. I was trying to decipher it. Right. We do sound like two slow people on the yellow bus. But you have to make sure that you're approaching your significant other in a way that they can hear you. Know their love language. Find and if you're consistently having that problem, find out what his or her love language is. Well, I want to try to stay on topic. So we're talking about men. Try to find out what his love language is and speak to him in that. Communicate to him in a way that he can hear you. And again, if that's even if you feel like you've done that, then maybe some professional help may be necessary. And if he doesn't want to seek professional help, then another conversation needs to be had. So, all right. So let's do one from the game again. Today's game is lyrically correct. Go ahead and put that in the window. Hashtag lyrically correct. This is the 90s 2000 hip hop version. We're going to read a couple from this game here. All right. And I do have a promo code for you, and I'll drop that in the chat window before we end this broadcast so that you can go to the site and purchase the game and get a discount. All right. So here's the first one. Where was the party that Montel Jordan went to on Friday night? Where was the party that Montel Jordan went to on Friday night? Where was the party that Montel Jordan went to on Friday night? Where was the party that Montel Jordan went to on Friday night? Anybody? Bueller? It was on the west side. It was on the west side. Where is what I do my link here? Sorry, people. Did I log out? What happened here? All right. Here we go. Sorry about that. Yep, on the west side. That is the answer. Okay. In Snoop Dogg's beautiful, Pharrell wants his girl to know that she's really what? In Snoop Dogg's Beautiful, Pharrell wants his girl to know that she's what? She is special. She is special. All right. This is a multiple choice question here. According to Deborah Cox, who was supposed to be here? A, her man, B, her family, C, God, or D, nobody? According to Deborah Cox, who was supposed to be here? A, her man, B, her family, C, God, or D, nobody? D, nobody is the answer. D is nobody is the answer. Okay. Why doesn't Andre 3000's baby mess around? Why doesn't Andre 3000's baby mess around? Why doesn't Andre 3000 baby mess around? I just posted that code in the chat window so you can get it, and go to that, click that link, and you can receive a discount off this game. They have other games besides what we're doing today, the 90s, 2000. We have the 80s, oldies but goodies. Okay, so the answer to the question is because she loves him so. Because she loves him so. All right, so here's the next one. How many earrings did LL Cool J want his girl to have? How many earrings did LL Cool J want his girl to have? How many earrings did LL Cool J want his girl to have? At least 2 pairs. All right. So let's go back to the video. Hashtag I'm outside. Let's argue. Drop that in the chat window. And if you are, since I also want you to drop in lyrically correct, hashtag lyrically correct, the 90s and 2000 hip hop and R&B version. The 90s 2000 R&B version. All right, so let's go ahead and finish playing this video. We're going to start it from the beginning for anybody who just tuning in so you can see the video.
Men have become so sensitive that every time their women express the way that they make them feel, they feel like they're being attacked. She's not attacking you. She's trying to teach you how to properly love her. She's trying to teach you how to properly nurture her, but your wounds, your ego, your pride have you on the defense. Be quiet. Shut up. Everything does not need a rebuttal. This woman is coming to you, and she should have a safe space when she's able to express her feelings, her needs, and her wants. When a woman stops expressing her feelings because she no longer feels heard, it's over. When a woman emotionally detaches from a relationship, you already lost her. So if a woman comes to you and saying, baby, you make me feel like this, you make me feel like that, stop being defensive, listen and learn so you can become a better man, so you can learn how to love your woman better. The worst thing a man can do is hear a woman cry out for help and turn the other cheek. Love that woman, guide that woman, protect that woman, and shield that woman even from the lowest parts of yourself. All praises due to the Most High. Don't be a dusty bum. All praises.
All right. So, sorry, I got somebody who's trying to tune in to the show live. Give me 1 second, people. Here. All right. Sorry about that. So somebody was trying to tune in while they were texting me. All right. So here's the long and short of it. Like I said earlier, I believe that there's just some conversations there are some things between men and women that are just going to be, the only person going to be able to settle them is God, like at the end of the day. And sometimes it makes for good conversation. It makes for good conversation. It helps us to understand one another. I think that when you have those difficult conversations between the sexes, it gives us a better understanding into the other person's world, where they're coming from. But the thing is that do you have an ear to hear? Do you have an ear to listen? Are you communicating to the person in a way that they can hear you and receive the message. Now, if you have an overbearing, controlling spouse or man, no, I mean, yeah, and then the stuff that he's saying is definitely on point for sure. But from me, when I first heard it, I automatically went to the way I felt like he was kind of like how I felt about that whole think like a man, like, or the other brother that was running around giving all his advice and he was doing all this other stuff on the side. Like, you want some BS. So that's how I looked at it. And, that's me looking at it through a biased lens, I guess, if that's being fair, if I'm being honest. Um, but if you have the kind of man, the kind of spouse, significant other that is definitely controlling and it's his way or the highway, and he ain't trying to hear nothing you kind of trying to say, then absolutely what he's saying is spot on. But he could be dealing with some trauma himself. He could be dealing with some issues that some daddy issues, his mama, some mama issues. It could be a plethora of things that he's dealing with. Why he won't allow you to get a word in. It's his way or the highway. You don't know what his dynamic was between his mama and between him and his mama, between him and his daddy, or the relationship his father had with his mother. We don't know so many things that come into play. And then, like I said, if we're gonna look at it, let's look at it in totality. How was she raised? What was her relationship like with her mother? What was her relationship like with her father? How did she see her mother in relationship to her father? Is she communicated to him in a way that is demeaning, that is demoralizing? Then he's gonna. I think there are very few men that I know personally, or that even that I know personally, that is going to respond well to somebody talking to them like that. Let's see, my sister Kiara's on. What's up, Kiara? That goes in one ear and out the other with some men, not all. And I've dated old, young, black, white, Hispanic. What you mean, sis? What do you mean? It goes in one ear and right out the other. What are you talking? What specifically are you referring to when you say that? Give me a little bit more context. So let's go ahead and play the video again. If you're just tuning in, hashtag I'm outside, drop that in the chat window for me. Also, since we're playing Lyrically Correct today, go ahead and put that in the chat window as well. Lyrically Correct, hashtag I'm outside, Lyrically Correct, drop that in the chat window. I've also put in a link. If you like the game that we're playing today, you can go to that, click on that link, go there, put the code in, and you can receive a discount. I'm going to give you the discount code that you can put in. So that you can receive a discount for the game that's being played today. So go to that link, drop that code in, and you can get the game. All right. So sis, give me some background on what you were saying. You said that shit goes in one ear and right out the other. Some men with some men, not all. And I've dated old, young, black, white, and Hispanic. Okay, that is interesting, little sister. But tell me, what do you mean when you say what specifically are you saying goes in one ear and right out the other? And if you're referring to what I think you're referring to, then I think that is a controlling man, one who thinks that he's doing no wrong. You're the problem. The one that doesn't want to take accountability. That man is definitely not going to hear you. He's not going to hear nothing you have to say, no matter what you say or how you say it. But I feel like if you care and love enough that person, then you'll try to find a way to get them to somebody to help them see the error of their ways, allow them to be able to talk to them, be able to talk to them in a way that you'll be able to communicate to them in a way in their love language so that they can hear you. Let's see. Little sister says, when expressing feelings to any man, they can't sit and hear you talk all day. But a lot of men are not considerate to some women, not considerate to some women's feelings. I think it does have a lot to do with the person upbringing. It does. I think we definitely on the same page there. see, the first part you said, when expressing feelings to any man, they can't sit and hear you talk all day. No, you know what, little sister, I give a little pushback there. I think that not all men, and we got to be careful not that we're not to use it blanket statements. Because as men, we're solvers. We're like we want solutions. So I can say that when there used to be conversations I would have with my wife where I wasn't trying to hear her at all. Like immediately I got on the defensive, like soon as she started in on, it depends on how she started in on conversation, because I knew it was leading to something else. So I would get defensive and be like, and then we would just start arguing. So nobody ever heard, I never heard what she was saying. She never heard what I was saying. But when I start taking the approach, you know what? Let me hear what because sometimes I just felt like some of the stuff she was saying was just completely off base. So I was like, you know what? Let me take the approach now. But I started to change. So let me take the approach where I'm going to just listen to what she had to say. And sometimes I would just, because sometimes it would be like if she wake me up in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, oh, here we go. But at some point, I started to take the approach, let me just hear what she got to say. And most of the time when I've done that, my response has been different. So if I now let me listen to what, even if I don't agree with none of this she's saying, let me just listen to what she's and trying to understand where she's coming from. My response has been different. Not saying that I didn't respond, but so that mess that he talked about, shut up. No, I'm not gonna shut up. But my response has been different because now my response to her is not in a one where I'm responding to, I'm listening to understand and not listening to respond. So now, because I've listened and not listening to respond, I'm listening to understand, my response is completely different than if I had to listen to respond versus listening to understand, if that makes sense. So I think when you take that approach, and this goes for women as well, when you listen to understand and don't listen to respond, I think you'll get your perspective will be different. And it doesn't mean that you need to shut up or he needs to shut up. Maybe when you're listening to understand, you might pause and not say anything right then and there or rebut right then and there because you need to process what it is the person has communicated to you. So it may take, maybe you don't respond right then and there. Maybe you take an hour, maybe you take 2 hours, maybe you take a day, a half a day, whatever it is in the process. And then I think it takes a bigger person, somebody with self-awareness, because maybe they said something that kind of hit home. They got under the skin, not got under the skin because they're trying to push buttons, but maybe what they said, there's some truth to it. So you might need to figure out why you might be angry about what it is they've communicated to you. And then you need to process that. And then two, you should have the space with one another to be open and honest about that. Why what they said made you angry and be able to deal with that. So, all right, so let's do some more from the game. Let's do some more from the game. All right, don't forget hashtag I'm outside. Let's argue. Drop that in the chat window. Also, lyrically correct, because that is the game we're playing today. I have also put in the window the link so you can go to their website and purchase the game. There's also a discount code that I put in there. You drop that in there and it'll give you a discount. All right, so here's the next one. In Nas, one mic, after the cop shot again, the bus stop glass burst. And what did the fiend drop? In Nas, one mic, after the cop shot again, the bus stop glass burst. And what did the fiend drop? What did the fiend drop? What did the fiend drop? His Heineken. He dropped his Heineken. All right. What does Lauryn Hill find funny about money? What does Lauren Hill find funny about money? When you really lost some. What does Lauren Hill find funny about money? How money changes the situation. All right. Here's the next one. How did Carl Thomas know it was love at first sight? You said that was a good one, sis, and you love Lauren Hill. All right. How did Carl Thomas know it was love at first sight? How did Carl Thomas know it was love at first sight? How did Carl Thomas know it was love at first sight? The rain, I don't know. No, from the way she looked at me. All right, here's the next one. How did DMX know she was a thug? How did DMX know she was a thug? Come through like you knew. How did DMX know she was a thug? How did DMX know she was a thug? I'm gonna drop the links in the window again for everybody. Because when he met her, she had a scarf on. I knew she was the thug because when I met her, she had a scarf on. What will be the reason Maxwell smiles? What will be the reason Maxwell smiles? Do 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 do. What will be the reason Maxwell smiles? Your face. Your face. All right. Let's go ahead and play this video again. Let's go ahead and play this
Every
video.
time their women express the sensitive, that every time their women express the way that they make them feel, they feel like they're being attacked. She's not attacking you. She's trying to teach you how to properly love her. She's trying to teach you how to properly nurture her, but your wounds, your ego, your pride have you on the defense. Be quiet. Shut up. Everything does not need a rebuttal. This woman is coming to you, and she should have a safe space when she's able to express her feelings, her needs, and her wants. When a woman stops expressing her feelings because she no longer feels heard, it's over. When a woman emotionally detaches from a relationship, you already lost her. So if a woman comes to you and saying, baby, you make me feel like this, you make me feel like that, stop being defensive, listen and learn so you can become a better man, so you can learn how to love your woman better. The worst thing a man can do is hear a woman cry out for help and turn the other cheek. Love that woman, guide that woman, protect that woman, and shield that woman even from the lowest parts of yourself. All praises due to the Most High. Don't be a dusty bum. All praises.
Yeah. And I heard I interviewed a couple last week, Phil and Jessica, and she said something during our interview that kind of stuck with me. She said, when you're dealing, because I was like, well, they talked about in depth about the things that they went through in their marriage and how it was real tough, and how depression and isolation and almost pretty much ended their marriage. They talked about that. It's in depth. It was a really good interview, one of the best ones I've had. And I'll make sure if you go to Black Marriage Chronicles YouTube page, you'll be able to find that. But I'm also going to post it on here as well. But she said, I was like, well, don't you think those things kind of brought y'all together? She was like, yeah. it's better that she felt like, and they both said this, they both agreed that they should have done the work before getting together. That she said it was hard dealing with your own baggage, but at the same time trying to make room and space for the other person. She said it was so hard, and I just, I didn't think about it at the time, but it makes perfect sense. Like, it's hard dealing. You have your own set of problems, but then at the same time you're trying to make space for the other person to be able to have room to um, do what they need to do inside the relationship. She said it was hard, and she just wished that they had done the work before they had gotten married, dealt with the trauma and the things of the attachment. What was it? The attachment. I forget the word for it, but anyway, it was certain relationship attachments that they had, that they both had. They both acknowledged that they had, that had they would done the work prior to, um, that would have kind of saved them, saved their marriage and the heartache and the headache that they had. But okay, um, but yeah, so definitely, I appreciate everybody for coming on. We're gonna do a couple more before from the game before we actually close out. Appreciate everybody. Like I said, I got some great news. We're gonna kind of go. We're going to a much wider audience real soon. I just got to sign the contract. I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna be on WJZZ Cool TV on YouTube. If you want to go and look that up, you can see some of the content that they already have. And I think the day we're gonna be doing this is on Saturdays. Not for sure the time just yet, but you'll be able to see it. It'll be able to be able to reuse and recast, dropped on my page, and so you guys will be able to see that soon. All right, here we go. Who did Fat Man Scoop tell to be quiet? A, the kids. B, the ugly people. C, all the chicken heads. Or D, the broke people. Who did Fat Man Scoop tell to be quiet? A, the kids. B, the ugly people. C, the chicken heads. Or D, the broke people. Who did Fat Man Scoop tell to be quiet? Mm-mm-mm. All the chicken heads. All the chicken heads be quiet. All right, here's the next one. Where can you meet Lloyd? Where can you meet Lloyd? Where can you meet Lloyd? On the south side. All right, this is a multiple choice question here or answers. How long ago was it that Chris Brown saw the hottest chick that a youngin' ever seen before? A, about 10 minutes ago. B, about 8 minutes ago. C, about 5 minutes ago. Or D, about 9 minutes ago. About 5 minutes ago. All right, here's the next one. What's Too Short's favorite word? Come on, y'all. What's my favorite word? Why you gotta say it like short? All right. All right. And the last one before we close out. What is the correct opening for Missy Elliott's Get Your Freak On? A, Headbanger. B, Korakama Mina D Machaka. What's up? What's up, Mika? You ain't spelled that word right, but okay. Uh Swago, Hush Your Mouth. Missy Puts It Down. What is the correct opening for Missy Elliott's Get Your Freak On? The answer is B, Kurakama Minadina Michikaka Odana. I don't even know how to pronounce that. All right. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for coming on, cuz. You got to tune in every Thursday at 6:30. I hope to see you. I hope you're doing good. Love you. Miss you. Tell everybody I said what's up. I am out of here. And I will see you all next week. Deuces.